Unbutton your shirt, sweetheart. Don't be shy. The words cut through the Saturday morning air like a knife. Sarah Mitchell's fingers tightened around her coffee cup. Her jaw clenched so hard her teeth ached. 3 Marines in civilian clothes circled her table at the San Diego pier, drunk at 10 a.m. phones, out recording. "Come on, baby. Give us a show." The biggest one reached for her collar. What happened next took 4 seconds. 4 seconds that would destroy careers, expose a conspiracy, and prove that the most dangerous person in any room is the one everyone underestimates. Before we dive into Sarah's story, hit that subscribe button and stay until the end. Comment what city you're watching from. I want to see how far this story travels. Sarah had been sitting there for 20 minutes before they noticed her. 20 peaceful minutes watching the sailboats drift across the harbor, trying to remember what normal felt like. The coffee was terrible overpriced tourist trap garbage, but the view made up for it. She'd almost convinced herself this was working, this whole civilian life experiment. "Well, well, well, what do we have here?" The voice came from behind. Male mid-20s, that particular brand of arrogance that comes from 3 beers and a uniform they weren't currently wearing. Sarah didn't turn around. She'd learned in some of the worst places on earth that eye contact was permission. "I'm talking to you, sweetheart." Footsteps. 3 sets. They arranged themselves around her table like wolves blocking the sun. The leader, tall, gym-muscled with a haircut that screamed military even in board shorts and a tank top, planted his hands on her table. His friends flanked him, phones already out. "Tyler Brooks," he said like his name should mean something. "And you are leaving," Sarah said quietly. Don't be like that." Tyler slid into the chair across from her, uninvited. "We're just being friendly, right, boys?" "Super friendly," one of them said, laughing. He had a Marine Corps tattoo visible on his forearm. They all did. Off-duty, probably stationed at Pendleton, definitely drunk despite the morning hour. Sarah set her coffee down carefully. "I'm not interested in conversation." "Who said anything about conversation?" Tyler leaned forward, his eyes traveling down from her face in a way that made her skin crawl. "We were thinking more like entertainment. See my boy here?" He gestured to the shorter guy filming. "He's got like 50,000 followers. You could be famous." "Not interested." "Come on, just smile for the camera, maybe." Tyler reached across the table, his finger moving toward the top button of her blouse. "Unbutton your shirt. Let's see what you're working with." Sarah's hand moved like lightning, catching his wrist mid-reach. Her grip was iron. Tyler's smirk faltered. "Don't touch me," she said, her voice dropping to a register that had once commanded men in combat zones. Tyler tried to pull away. Couldn't. His eyes widened slightly. "Whoa, she's got some grip. You work out, baby. Let him go, bitch," the 3rd Marine said, stepping closer. "Or you'll what?" Sarah's eyes locked on him. 2 seconds of eye contact, and he actually stepped back. But Tyler recovered his bravado. He wrenched his hand free, she let him, and stood up his chair, scraping loud enough to make nearby tables turn. The pier was crowded. Families with kids. Couples. An old man feeding seagulls. All of them watching now, phones coming out. "You know what, I don't like your attitude," Tyler said. He was playing to his camera now, voice louder. "We're servicemen. We defend this country. And you can't even show us a little respect, a little appreciation." "Sit down," Sarah said. "Make me." It was probably the worst decision Tyler Brooks would ever make. Sarah stood. She was 5'7" in boots, average build. Nothing physically intimidating about her. Tyler topped 6 feet easily. His friends were closing in, emboldened by their leader, by their audience, by the phones capturing what they thought would be a funny story. "Last chance," Sarah said. Walk away. Or what you gonna call the cops? Tyler laughed. Sweetheart, I am the law. Me and my boys, we're the ones who… He reached for her again, this time for her shoulder, probably planning to push her back into her chair to humiliate her physically in front of everyone. His hand never made contact. Sarah's movement was textbook muscle memory from 1,000 hours of training. She trapped his reaching arm, stepped inside his guard, and used his own momentum to fold his wrist backward at an angle. Wrists aren't designed to fold. Tyler's knees hit the concrete before his brain caught up with what was happening. Jesus fuck! He tried to struggle. Sarah applied an ounce more pressure, and he froze, face going white. The shorter Marine charged. Sarah had already planned for it. She released Tyler's wrist, pivoted, and met the charge with a palm strike to the solar plexus that stopped him cold. While he was trying to remember how to breathe, she hooked his leg and guided him down face first. Not a throw. A controlled descent that left him gasping on the pier boards. The third Marine, the smart one, put his hands up. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Stay there, Sarah said calmly. Her coffee was still upright on the table. She hadn't spilled a drop. Tyler was getting up, face purple with rage and humiliation, dozens of cameras on him. You fucking bitch, you just assaulted. Self-defense, said a woman's voice. A tourist, middle-aged phone out. We all saw it. You grabbed her first. She's right, someone else called. You guys were harassing her. Tyler's eyes darted around, seeing the crowd, the phones, the old man by the seagulls nodding in agreement. His friend was still on the ground, wheezing. The other one looked like he wanted to teleport anywhere else. This isn't over, Tyler hissed at Sarah. You have any idea who you just fucked with? Sarah picked up her coffee. Took a sip. Met his eyes over the rim. No. Do you… Something in her tone made Tyler hesitate, made him look at her more closely, the way she stood, the absolute calm in her eyes, the casual competence with which she'd just dismantled 2 grown men. Who are you? He asked. Nobody, Sarah said. Walk away, while you still can. For a moment it looked like Tyler might actually take the advice. Then his pride kicked in. Or maybe the camera. Or maybe he really was just that stupid. Marcus, call the MPs, he said to the third Marine. We're pressing charges. Assault on military personnel. She's going to jail. Sarah smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. You want to involve the military police, really? Damn right. You're done. Okay, Sarah said quietly. She set her coffee down again, rolled up her left sleeve slowly, deliberately. The tattoo on her forearm made Tyler go very still. Navy SEAL Trident. The eagle, the anchor, the pistol, the trident itself. Unmistakable. That's fake, Tyler said, but his voice cracked. Women can't, Lieutenant Commander Sarah Mitchell. She said each word crisp and clear. Naval Special Warfare Development Group, 3 combat deployments, Silver Star, Purple Heart. She paused. And you just sexually harassed me on camera while threatening a superior officer. The pier had gone dead silent. Even the seagulls seemed to be holding their breath. Tyler's face went through several colors. You're lying. Seals don't look like what women. Sarah stepped closer. Tyler actually backed up. You were saying something about respecting servicemen. Does that extend to service women, or just the ones who fit your fantasy? Sirens in the distance. Growing closer? Someone had called the cops, after all. Marcus, the third Marine, was already backing away, hands still up. Tyler, man, we should go. We should really, really go. But Tyler's shock was curdling into something uglier. Sarah had seen it before, the moment when men realized they'd been beaten by a woman and decided that reality itself must be wrong. Bullshit, Tyler said. I don't know what stolen valor game you're playing, but when the MPs get here, they're going to see about 60 videos of you sexually harassing a woman in public, Sarah said. Touching her without consent. Threatening her. All while drunk and claiming to represent the Marine Corps. She tilted her head. How do you think that's going to play? The shorter Marine had finally gotten his breath back. He scrambled up, looking between Sarah and Tyler with dawning horror. Dude, she's right. Holy shit, we're so fucked. We're so completely fucked. Tyler's phone buzzed. Then again. And again. He looked at it, and whatever he saw there made his face go pale. It's already online, Marcus whispered, looking at his own phone. Jesus, Tyler. It's everywhere. Marines harass woman at pier. Mystery woman destroys harassers. You're trending. Delete it, Tyler snapped. Delete all of it. It's too late, man. It's been shared like 1,000 times already. The police arrived first, 2 officers, both looking annoyed at having to deal with what probably seemed like drunk tourists. Then a second car. Then a Navy patrol vehicle, which made Tyler go even paler. A female naval officer stepped out, Master-at-Arms First Class, by her insignia. She took one look at Sarah, and her eyes widened. Ma'am, she said, coming to attention, I didn't know you were— Are you all right? Fine, petty officer, Sarah said. These Marines were just leaving. The hell we are, Tyler said, finding his voice again. Desperation made him bold. She assaulted us. I want her arrested. I don't care who she claims to be. The petty officer held up a phone, playing one of the videos. Tyler's voice crystal clear. Unbutton your shirt. Let's see what you're working with. You want to press charges? The petty officer asked, her voice ice. Be my guest, but I'm guessing when your CO sees this video, pressing charges will be the least of your problems. Tyler's mouth opened. Closed. He looked at Sarah, at the crowd, at his friends, who were desperately trying to become invisible. We're going, Marcus said, grabbing Tyler's arm. Right now. We're going, and we're never speaking of this again. Smart, Sarah said. But before you do— She stepped close to Tyler, close enough that only he could hear her next words. Tell your CO you just harassed a SEAL. Tell him to check my service record. And tell him that if I ever see you near a woman again, anywhere, what happened today will feel like a warm hug. Tyler's Adam's apple bobbed. He nodded once, jerkily. Good talk, Sarah said, stepping back. She looked at the petty officer. I don't want to press charges. Let them go. Ma'am, with respect, what they did, I know, but trust me, what's about to happen to them is worse than anything the civilian courts could do. Sarah picked up her coffee one more time. It had gone cold. They're about to learn that the Navy takes care of its own. And so does their Corps. The petty officer hesitated, then nodded. Yes, ma'am. But for the record, I need to file a report. File whatever you need. I'll be available if required. Tyler and his friends were already walking away fast, heads down, trying to outrun the phones still tracking them. The crowd was starting to disperse, though several people came up to Sarah to make sure she was okay to offer to testify, to tell her she was a badass. She accepted their kindness with grace she didn't feel, because her hands were shaking now that the adrenaline was fading, because she'd just blown 2 years of carefully maintained anonymity in 4 seconds of muscle memory, because Tyler Brooks didn't know it yet, but he'd just painted a target on both of them. The petty officer was still there taking her statement when Sarah's phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Mitchell, she said. Ghost. The voice on the other end made her blood run cold. She hadn't heard that call sign in 2 years. Hadn't wanted to. We need to talk, now. Hawk. Sarah turned away from the petty officer, her chest tightening. Master Chief James Rodriguez, her former platoon leader, one of only 3 people who knew the whole truth about Syria. "You're blown?" Hawk said without preamble. "That video's already hit 20 million views. Every military news site has picked it up. Female SEAL defends herself against harassers. They're calling you a hero." "That's a problem. It is when the man who tried to kill you 2 years ago sees your face all over the internet." Hawk's voice was grim. "Donovan knows you're alive, and judging by the phone calls I'm getting, he's already moving to fix that." Sarah's mouth went dry. Colonel Richard Donovan. The man who'd left her team to die in Syria to cover up his weapons trafficking operation. The man who'd made her survival look like cowardice, who'd buried her so deep in bureaucracy and medical leave that she'd simply disappeared. "I've been careful," Sarah said. "Not careful enough. Listen to me, do not go home. Do not go anywhere predictable. Those Marines who harassed you." "What about them?" Tyler Brooks checked his file. "He did a 6-month rotation in Syria. Forward operating base Whiskey. Guess who commanded that base?" Sarah felt the pier tilt under her feet. Donovan. Donovan. And 3 hours ago, Brooks and his buddies received emergency orders to report to Camp Pendleton, to Donovan's office, personally. Hawk paused. "Ghost, that video going viral wasn't an accident. And Brooks harassing you wasn't random. You've been found. And Donovan's cleaning house." Sarah looked out at the harbor, at the peaceful sailboats, at the families still enjoying their morning. 20 minutes ago, she'd been one of them. Pretending. Hiding. Safe. "Where are you?" she asked. "Same city, different problems. I've been building a case against Donovan for 2 years. Finally got enough to move. Was about to bring it to NCIS when..." Hawk sighed. "When you went viral and accelerated everyone's timeline." "I didn't mean to. Doesn't matter what you meant. Matters what happens next." Hawk's voice softened. "I know you wanted out. I know you earned your peace. But Ghost, if we don't move now, Donovan buries both of us. And everyone we served with dies for nothing." Sarah closed her eyes. She could walk away. Change her name again. Disappear deeper. Let Hawk fight this battle alone. But she'd already tried that. 2 years of running from her own reflection. 2 years of pretending that morning coffee and harbor views could fill the hole where her team used to be. Where her honor used to be. "Where do we meet?" she asked. "Industrial District. Warehouse on Griffin Street. Number 447. 2 hours. Come armed." "I'm a civilian. I don't..." "Ghost, come armed." The line went dead. Sarah stood there for a long moment, the phone still pressed to her ear. The petty officer was watching her with concern. "Ma'am, are you all right?" "No," Sarah said honestly. "But I will be." She left the pier without looking back. Left her cold coffee and her peaceful morning and her carefully constructed civilian life. Somewhere across the city, Tyler Brooks was walking into an office and realizing he'd become a pawn in something far bigger than a bar fight. Somewhere in that same city, a corrupt colonel was making phone calls, moving pieces, preparing to bury his mistakes. And somewhere between them, Sarah Mitchell was remembering how to be Ghost. The woman everyone had underestimated was about to remind them all why she'd earned that name in the first place. Sarah's apartment was in Pacific Beach, a third-floor walk-up she'd chosen specifically because it had 2 exits and clear sight lines to the street. She was there for exactly 7 minutes. Long enough to grab the go-bag she'd kept packed for 2 years, the one she'd told herself she'd never need. Long enough to retrieve the Glock 19 from the false bottom of her nightstand, the one that technically violated her medical leave terms. Long enough to look at the life she was leaving behind, the yoga mat in the corner, the half-read novels, the coffee maker she'd used that morning, and feel absolutely nothing. The gun felt more familiar than any of it. She was in her car heading toward the industrial district when her phone rang again. Different number. She answered on speaker. "Lieutenant Commander Mitchell," a woman's voice crisp and professional. "Who's asking? Captain Rachel Torres, Naval Special Warfare Command. I need you to come in immediately. Sarah's hands tightened on the wheel. I'm on medical leave. Your leave status just became irrelevant. That video has created a situation. We need to discuss your next steps. My next steps are my own business, Captain. Not when you assault 3 Marines on camera, they're not. Torres's voice hardened. I'm not asking Commander, I'm telling you. Report to... Sarah hung up, turned off her phone, pulled the battery. Torres wasn't trying to help her. Torres was trying to contain her. Put her somewhere quiet, somewhere controlled, until Donovan could make his move. She'd learned in Syria that the chain of command only worked when the people at the top weren't corrupt. The industrial district was exactly as welcoming as it sounded. Abandoned warehouses, chain-link fences crowned with razor wire buildings that had been scheduled for demolition since before Sarah joined the Navy. Warehouse 447 looked like all the others, corrugated metal siding, busted windows graffiti, declaring that someone named Miguel loved someone named Rosa back in 2015. Sarah parked 2 blocks away. Approached on foot, the Glock tucked in her waistband eyes, scanning roof lines and corners. Old habits, good habits, the kind that kept you breathing. The warehouse door was unlocked. Inside the space was mostly empty, except for a few rusted shipping containers and a makeshift office in the corner plywood walls, a single desk, camping lanterns for light. Hawk was waiting. He looked older than Sarah remembered, more lines around his eyes, gray threading through his hair. But he stood the same way, balanced ready, like the floor might drop out at any second and he'd just adapt. 15 years as a SEAL did that to you. You look like hell, he said. You look worse. He smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. 2 years, Ghost. 2 years since Syria, and you didn't call once. I was busy being dead, Sarah said. Or close enough. Yeah, well, dead didn't stick. Hawk gestured to the desk, where a laptop sat open screen glowing. Come see what you're up against. Sarah moved to the laptop. The screen showed security camera footage, high-quality military grade. The timestamp read 3 hours ago. Camp Pendleton, judging by the architecture. A hallway. 3 Marines walking with the confidence of men who thought they were invincible. Tyler Brooks and his friends. Watch, Hawk said. The Marines entered an office. The door closed. 4 minutes passed. Then the door opened again, and they filed out. But they walked differently now. Heads down, shoulders tight. Tyler's face was bone white. What did Donovan say to them? Sarah asked. Don't know. Room's not bugged. But check this out. Hawk clicked to another window. A phone call transcript. NSA owes me a favor. This is Tyler Brooks calling his mother 20 minutes after that meeting. Sarah read the transcript. Her blood went cold. TB Mom, I fucked up. I fucked up so bad. Mother Tyler. What happened, TB? That woman from the video. Mom, she's real. She's actually a SEAL. And the colonel, he showed us things. Pictures. Files. He said she's dangerous. Said she's unstable. Said she killed people on her own team, and they covered it up. Mother. That can't be TB. He said she needs to be stopped before she hurts someone else. He said we started this by confronting her, so we need to finish it. Mother. Tyler, no. Whatever you're thinking, TB. I have to go. Don't call this number again. Sarah looked up at Hawk. Donovan's turning them into his weapons. Worse, he's making them believe it's righteous. Brooks and his buddies think they're stopping a dangerous rogue operator. They think they're heroes. Hawk closed the laptop. How many men did Donovan have access to in Syria? 50, 100. How many of them would believe the same story? We need to go to NCIS, to JAG, to someone who already tried. 2 years of trying. Hawk pulled a folder from the desk, threw it down. Sarah opened it. Pictures of men in uniform, red X's marked through half of them. That's everyone who got close to the truth about Donovan. Some died in training accidents. Some committed suicide. Some just disappeared. The ones who didn't die dishonorably discharged, court-martialed on trumped-up charges, discredited. Sarah flipped through the pages, recognized names, good men. How is he doing this? 20 years of collecting leverage, 20 years of knowing secrets. Donovan didn't just run weapons in Syria, he's been doing it since Afghanistan, Iraq, maybe before. He's got connections in military intelligence, in procurement, in criminal investigation. And he's got dirt on everyone who could touch him. Hawk's jaw clenched. The man's untouchable. Until now. What changed? You changed. You survived when you should have died. You disappeared when you should have testified. And now you've gone viral and reminded everyone that Lieutenant Commander Sarah Mitchell exists. Hawk pulled out a second folder. Thicker. I've been building this for 2 years. Financial records showing money moving through shell companies. Testimony from 3 different weapons dealers, sealed testimony, they're in witness protection. Satellite imagery of the Syria compound on the night your team died, showing Donovan's convoy leaving 30 minutes before the ambush. It's all here. Sarah's hands trembled as she opened the folder. 4 SEALs died that night. Jennings, Marcus, Rodriguez, Kim. Their faces stared up at her from service photos clipped to witness statements she'd never been allowed to give. This is enough, she whispered. It's not enough. I've shown this to 6 different JAG officers. 4 of them suddenly got reassigned. 1 had a heart attack. The last one told me flat out that prosecuting Donovan would require someone with unimpeachable credibility to testify. Someone who was there. Someone who can't be discredited. Hawk met her eyes. Someone like you. I can't. The words came out strangled. Hawk, I can't go through that again. The depositions, the boards, the psych evals. They'll tear me apart. They'll make it look like I'm the crazy one, like I abandoned my team, like you're exactly what Donovan's already telling Tyler Brooks you are. Hawk's voice was gentle. Brutal. Ghost, I'm not asking you to be a hero. I'm asking you to tell the truth. One more time. One last time. Sarah closed the folder. And if the truth gets us both killed, then at least Jennings, Marcus, Rodriguez, and Kim die as heroes instead of footnotes in Donovan's lie. A noise outside. Both of them went still. Sarah's hand moved to her gun. Hawk already had his out. Footsteps. Multiple sets. Moving fast. That's not possible, Hawk breathed. No one knows about this place. No one. The warehouse door exploded inward, not kicked. Blown. Breaching charges. Professional work. Sarah's ears rang from the concussion. Through the smoke came 4 figures in tactical gear, no insignia weapons up. Down, get down. Private military contractors. Had to be. Donovan's personal cleaning crew. Hawk fired first. 2-shot center mass on the lead contractor. The man went down. Sarah was already moving, using the shipping containers for cover, her training flooding back like she'd never left. Muscle memory. The good kind. The kind that kept you alive. Left side, Hawk shouted. Sarah pivoted, caught a contractor trying to flank, put 2 rounds in his chest. He dropped. That was 2 down. 2 left. But more were coming. She could hear them outside. Vehicles. Voices. This wasn't a kill team. This was a platoon. Back door. Hawk was moving, laying down covering fire. Sarah followed, combat crawling between containers. A bullet sparked off metal inches from her head. Another punched through plywood. They were using real ammunition, not worrying about collateral damage, which meant they planned to clean up the bodies and burn the warehouse. The back door was already covered. 3 contractors in position. Sarah's heart sank. "We're boxed in," she said. "Yeah." Hawk checked his magazine. "I've got 8 rounds left." 10? Well. Hawk looked at her, and for just a second she saw her platoon leader again. The man who'd pulled her from a burning vehicle in Mosul. The man who'd stood up for her when half the team didn't want a woman in their unit. "Been an honor ghost." "It's not over yet." "Sarah, there's at least a dozen of them. Even if we were in our prime, I am in my prime." Sarah ejected her magazine, checked it, slammed it home. "And you taught me something in Syria, before everything went to shit. You said the difference between SEALs and everyone else isn't the weapons or the training. It's that we refuse to quit even when math says we should. I also said there's a difference between refusing to quit and refusing to die. Good thing I'm good at both." Before Hawk could argue, Sarah did something insane. She stood up, stepped into the open and fired 3 shots at the contractors by the back door. All 3 dropped into cover, returning fire, tearing up the warehouse around her. And while they were focused on her, while every gun was pointed her way, Hawk moved like a ghost himself, flanking left, using their tunnel vision against them, closing distance. 2 shots. 2 contractors down before they knew he was there. The third one turned, but Sarah was already on him. She'd covered the distance in seconds, too close for him to bring his rifle around. She trapped the barrel twisted, took the weapon away from him like taking candy from a child. Reversed it, put the stock into his throat. He went down, choking. "Go!" Hawk was at the back door, firing out into the alley. Sarah grabbed the contractor's rifle, much better than her pistol, and followed. The alley was chaos. 2 vehicles, both SUVs with tinted windows. At least 6 more contractors. Hawk put rounds through the windshield of the first vehicle. Sarah took out a tire on the second. And then they were running. 2 middle-aged SEALs with blown knees and bad backs running like they were 25 again, like the world depended on it. Maybe it did. Behind them, the contractors regrouped, orders being shouted, vehicles trying to maneuver. But Sarah and Hawk had the advantage now they knew how to disappear in urban terrain. 3 blocks later, they'd switched directions. 4 times, climbed a fence, cut through a homeless encampment where they ditched the rifles and emerged onto a busy street where they slowed to a walk. Just 2 civilians. Nothing to see here. "Your car?" Hawk asked, breathing hard. 2 blocks from the warehouse. Yours? Same. Both compromised. They kept walking. Sarah's mind was racing. "They found us in 30 minutes. Donovan's got resources we didn't account for." "Or someone talked." Hawk glanced at her. "How many people knew you were meeting me?" "Nobody. You. Same. Which means either we're bugged, or..." Sarah stopped walking. Pulled out her phone battery. "When did you call me?" 2 hours ago. Why?" "Because 30 minutes later they knew exactly where we'd be." Sarah turned the battery over in her hand. "They're not tracking us. They're tracking our calls. Military intelligence. Donovan's got access to NSA surveillance. Jesus Christ. If he can track our phones, he can track everything. Bank accounts, credit cards, every digital footprint we've ever left." Sarah looked at Hawk. "We can't use anything. No phones, no cards, no electronic communication. How do we build a case if we can't communicate? We don't build a case." Sarah's voice hardened. "We go public, right now, before Donovan can spin it." Hawk stared at her. Hawk stared at. "You want to tell the world that a decorated colonel is running weapons and murdering SEALs without proof? They'll destroy you. Your service record, your mental health evaluations, your medical leave, Donovan will use it all. You'll be the crazy lady who couldn't hack it. Maybe, but I'll be the crazy lady saying it on national television. Sarah started walking again. I'm done hiding. I'm done letting him control the narrative. If he wants to come after me, let him do it in front of cameras. And Tyler Brooks, those Marines Donovan's turning into his personal hit squad. Sarah thought about that transcript. Tyler's voice. I fucked up so bad. A kid making a mistake that was turning into something darker. Being molded into a weapon by a man who'd been making weapons out of good soldiers for 20 years. We save them if we can, she said. Stop them if we can't. They caught a bus using cash Hawk had on him. Sat in the back, watching every passenger, every stop. Sarah's adrenaline was crashing now, leaving her hollow. She'd fired her weapon at human targets for the first time in 2 years. She'd slipped back into combat mode like she'd never left. Part of her had loved it. That was the part that scared her most. Ghost. Hawk's voice was quiet. That thing I said about you being in your prime, yeah, I lied. We're both half broken and held together by spite. If we go up against Donovan, even with everything public, he's got the power to bury us, to make sure we both end up in military prison or dead in a ditch. I know. So why are you doing this? Sarah looked out the window at San Diego sliding past. Normal people living normal lives. Families, couples, kids. All of them safe because people like her had stood in dark places so they didn't have to. Because 4 men died believing I'd tell their story, she said. And I've been silent for 2 years. That ends today. Her phone battery was still in her hand. She rolled down the window and threw it out. Watched it bounce on the asphalt and disappear. Somewhere in the city, Tyler Brooks was loading a gun and believing he was doing the right thing. Somewhere else, Colonel Donovan was making calls and eliminating problems. And somewhere between them, Sarah Mitchell was about to become the biggest problem Richard Donovan had ever faced. The woman he'd tried to kill in Syria was coming for him. And this time, she wasn't alone. The bus dropped them in downtown San Diego, 8 blocks from the federal building. Sarah and Hawk walked fast, but not too fast, just 2 more people in the lunch hour crowd. Except Sarah's hands wouldn't stop shaking, and Hawk kept checking over his shoulder every 30 seconds. We need a plan, Hawk said. The plan is we walk into the FBI field office and tell them everything. And when Donovan's people intercept us in the lobby, Sarah didn't have an answer for that. She was running on instinct now, on rage, on 2 years of buried grief that had finally found a target. But Hawk was right. Walking into a federal building without preparation was suicide. They stopped at a corner pretending to wait for the light. A man in a suit passed too close. Sarah's hand went to where her gun used to be before remembering she'd ditched it 3 blocks back. We need leverage, Hawk said. Something Donovan can't spin. Something that makes killing us worse than letting us talk. The files you showed me, we get those 2 gone. Everything was in the warehouse. Laptop, hard drives, all of it. Hawk's voice cracked. 2 years of work and I kept it all in one place like a fucking amateur. Sarah grabbed his arm. You said you had witnesses in protection. They're still alive. 3 of them, but they won't testify without immunity deals, and immunity deals require prosecutors who aren't on Donovan's payroll. The light changed. They crossed. Sarah's mind was working through scenarios, discarding them as fast as they formed. Every official channel led back to Donovan. Every person they could trust might be compromised. They were 2 people against an entire system. There, Hawk said suddenly. He pointed across the street to a coffee shop with a neon sign. Public Wi-Fi. We can upload everything to the cloud before Donovan knows we're doing it. You just said all your files were destroyed. The hard copies were. But I'm not an idiot, Ghost. I kept digital backups. Hawk tapped his head. Up here. Encrypted drives. 3 different locations. If we can get to one, a black SUV turned the corner. Tinted windows. Government plates. Moving too slow. Walk, Sarah said quietly. Don't run. Just walk. They turned down a side street. The SUV didn't follow. Maybe it wasn't them. Maybe it was nothing. Sarah's heart hammered anyway. They made it to the coffee shop. Hawk bought 2 coffees with cash, while Sarah found a corner table with a view of both entrances. Normal people surrounded them typing on laptops, having meetings, living lives where the worst problem was a deadline or a difficult client. Sarah envied them so much it hurt. Hawk sat down with a laptop he'd lifted from an empty table. Owner went to the bathroom. We've got maybe 3 minutes. You're stealing laptops now. You got a better idea. Hawk's fingers flew across the keyboard. One of my backup drives is in a storage unit in Chula Vista. Another's in a safety deposit box that requires 2 forms of ID I don't have anymore. The third, he paused. The third is at my ex-wife's house. Your ex-wife. Don't start. The woman who divorced you because you couldn't let Syria go is sitting on evidence that could get her killed. She doesn't know what's in the box. I told her it was old deployment photos. Hawk pulled up a map. She's in Oceanside, 30 minutes if we can find a car. We're not stealing a car. Then we're walking 30 miles. Hawk looked at her. Your call, Commander. Sarah closed her eyes. Every choice led deeper into darkness. Every step made them more desperate, more criminal, more like the people they were trying to stop. But Jennings, Marcus Rodriguez, and Kim were still dead, and Donovan was still free. We find a car, she said. They found one in a parking garage 4 blocks away. A 10-year-old Honda with a cracked windshield and expired registration. Sarah jimmied the door, while Hawk hot-wired the ignition, both of them working with the smooth efficiency of people who'd done this before, in places where stealing was survival. The engine turned over. They were pulling onto the highway when Sarah's stolen phone buzzed. She'd grabbed it from a woman's purse in the coffee shop, hating herself even as she did it. The screen showed a news alert. Her face. The pier. The video had hit 50 million views. But that wasn't what made her blood freeze. The headline read, Female SEAL wanted for questioning in warehouse shooting. 3 private security guards dead. They're blaming us, Sarah whispered. Hawk glanced at the phone. Swore. They moved fast. Christ, we left the warehouse 3 hours ago. Those weren't security guards. They were Donovan's contractors. Doesn't matter. Now we're not whistleblowers. We're cop killers on the run. Hawk's knuckles went white on the steering wheel. He's spinning it, making us the villains. By tonight, every cop in California will be looking for us. Sarah scrolled through the article. It got worse. Witnesses claiming they heard Sarah and Hawk arguing before the shooting. Claims that Sarah had been exhibiting erratic behavior. A quote from an unnamed naval officer suggesting she'd never recovered from Syria, that she'd become paranoid, dangerous. Captain Torres, Sarah said. That's Torres feeding them the narrative. Donovan got to her. Or she was always his. Hawk took an exit too fast, tires squealing. Doesn't matter. We're burned. Even if we get the files, even if we go public, who's going to believe the crazy SEAL who murdered 3 security guards? We didn't murder anyone. We defended ourselves. You think anyone cares about the difference? Hawk's voice rose. Donovan's been doing this for 20 years, Ghost. He knows exactly how to make heroes look like villains, and we just handed him the perfect story. Sarah wanted to argue. Couldn't, because Hawk was right. They'd lost before they'd even started fighting. The phone buzzed again. A text message to its owner from someone named Jennifer. OMG, did you see the news? That crazy SEAL lady? I hope they catch her before she hurts someone else. Sarah threw the phone out the window. They drove in silence for 20 minutes, taking back roads, avoiding main highways where traffic cameras could spot them. Oceanside was a beach community north of San Diego, full of military families and retired Marines. Hawk's ex-wife lived in a modest bungalow 3 blocks from the ocean. She's at work, Hawk said, parking 2 streets over. Teacher, won't be home until 3. So we break in twice in one day? You want to quit. I'm getting those files. Hawk got out of the car. Sarah followed because she didn't know what else to do. They approached the house from the back using a fence line for cover. The back door had a simple lock. Hawk had it open in 30 seconds. Inside the house was everything Hawk's life wasn't. Clean, organized. Pictures of his ex-wife with a new man, both of them smiling on a beach somewhere warm. A comfortable couch. Plants that were actually alive. A life that moved on. Bedroom, Hawk said shortly. He disappeared down the hall. Sarah stayed in the living room watching the street through the curtains. A mail truck passed. A dog walker. Everything normal. Everything fine. Except she was a fugitive in a stranger's house. Her face was all over the news, and somewhere Tyler Brooks was loading magazines thinking he was about to stop a threat to national security. Hawk emerged with a shoebox. Opened it. Inside was a hard drive the size of a deck of cards. 2 years, he said. Everything. Financial records, testimony, transcripts, satellite imagery, communications, intercepts. It's all here. And if we upload it, then everyone knows, media, Congress, NCIS, Donovan can't kill it all. Hawk clutched the drive. This is it, Ghost. This is what they died for. A car door slammed outside. Sarah moved to the window. A sedan had parked in front of the house. 2 men getting out. Suits. Serious faces. Federal agents, Hawk asked. Worse. Donovan's people. And Sarah recognized one of them from the warehouse. The man's arm was in a sling from where she'd shot him. They knew. They knew we'd come here. That's impossible. Nobody knew about this drive except me and... Hawk's face went ashen. Oh God. Diana, my ex. I called her last week, just to check in, just to make sure she was okay. They traced the call. I used a burner. I was careful. Not careful enough. Sarah was already moving toward the back door. We need to go. Now. But the back door opened before they reached it. 2 more contractors. Guns drawn. Professional. Patient. Hands up, both of you. Nice and slow. Sarah and Hawk raised their hands. The contractors from the front entered through the living room, boxing them in. 4 men. 4 guns. No way out. The man with the sling stepped forward. Up close, he was younger than Sarah had thought. Mid-30s. Wedding ring. Probably had kids. Probably thought he was doing honest work for honest pay. Lieutenant Commander Mitchell. Master Chief Rodriguez. You're both under arrest for murder, theft of classified materials, and about a dozen other charges I'm too tired to list. He pulled out zip ties. You can come quietly, or we can make this difficult. Your choice. We didn't murder anyone, Hawk said. That's for a court to decide. Right now, you're coming with us. Sarah's mind raced. Donovan wouldn't let them see a courtroom. They'd disappear. Accident in transport. Attempted escape. Dead suspects couldn't testify. The contractor stepped closer to Hawk, reaching for his hands. That's when Hawk moved. Not attacking. Just shifting. Just letting something fall from his pocket. A grenade pin. The contractor saw it. His eyes went wide. Where's the... Taped to my chest, Hawk lied. Dead man switch. You shoot me, we all go up. Sarah's heart stopped. He was bluffing. Had to be. Hawk wouldn't rig himself with a grenade. Would he? The contractors backed up, hands steady but eyes worried. The man with the sling keyed his radio. We've got a situation. Target claims to be carrying explosives. Static. Then a voice Sarah recognized. Cold. Controlled. Colonel Richard Donovan himself. Is the drive secure? The contractor glanced at Hawk's other hand, still holding the shoebox. Negative. Target has the drive. A long pause. Then, eliminate both targets. Retrieve the drive. Acceptable losses. The contractor's face didn't change. Copy that. He raised his gun. Sarah threw herself sideways, crashing into Hawk, both of them hitting the floor as shots punched through the air where they'd been standing. The couch exploded in stuffing. The wall behind them splintered. Hawk rolled through the shoebox at the nearest contractor's face. The man flinched. 1 second. That's all they got. Sarah was up closing distance, taking the man's gun hand, breaking his wrist, taking the weapon. She fired twice. Center, mass. He went down. Hawk tackled another contractor, both of them crashing through the coffee table. Fists. Blood. The brutal, close-quarters work that SEALs trained for. Sarah spun, fired at the man with the sling. Missed. He returned fire. A round burned past her ear. Then the backdoor contractor appeared in her peripheral vision. Gun up. She couldn't turn fast enough. This was it. This was how she died. In a stranger's living room, fighting for evidence that would die with her. The shot came, but not at her. The backdoor contractor jerked a bloom of red spreading across his chest. He dropped. In the doorway stood Tyler Brooks, gun smoking, face white as snow. For a frozen moment, nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Tyler stood there staring at the man he'd just killed, the man who'd been about to kill Sarah, the woman he'd been sent to stop. What did I... Tyler's voice broke. What did I just... The contractor with the sling turned his gun toward Tyler. Sarah shot him first. He went down. The last contractor scrambled for his weapon. Hawk was on him, slamming his head into the floor until he stopped moving. Then silence. Except for Tyler's ragged breathing, except for the ringing in Sarah's ears. Why? Sarah asked. Why did you save me? Tyler's gun dropped from nerveless fingers. I followed you. Donovan's orders. I was supposed to... He said you were dangerous, that you killed your team, that you needed to be stopped. Before you... He looked at the bodies, at the destruction. But these men weren't MPs. They weren't investigators. They were executing you. No arrest, no trial, just... Tears streaked his face. Just murder. Tyler. Sarah's voice was gentle. What else did Donovan tell you? Everything. About Syria. About the weapons. About how you were the only witness. Tyler's legs gave out. He sat hard on the floor. He lied. He lied about all of it. I believed him. I was ready to kill you because I believed him. Hawk grabbed the shoebox. The hard drive was intact. We need to move. More will come. I can't. Tyler looked at his hands. I just killed a man. Oh God. Oh God, what did I do? Sarah knelt beside him. You saved my life. That's what you did. That man was going to kill me. You stopped him. I'm a Marine. I'm supposed to protect people, not... You did protect someone. Me. Sarah gripped his shoulder. Tyler, I need you to listen. Donovan is corrupt. Everything he told you was a lie. But if you come with us now, if you testify to what he said, what he ordered you to do, we can stop him. We can make sure no one else gets used like you were. Tyler looked up at her. This close, he was just a kid. 24, maybe 25. Old enough to die for his country. Too young to understand how many ways that country could betray him. "My friends," he whispered. "Marcus and Hicks. Donovan has them. He's giving them the same orders he gave me." Sarah's stomach dropped. "Where?" "I don't know. He separated us. Said we'd be more effective alone." Tyler's hand found his phone. "But we have a group chat. If they're following orders like I was, they'll be tracking your known associates, staking out locations you might go." "Who else does Donovan think I'll contact?" Tyler pulled up messages. Read them. His face went gray. "Admiral Patricia Walsh, NCIS headquarters. Donovan thinks you'll go to her for help." He looked at Sarah. "He sent Marcus and Hicks to intercept you there. And if Walsh gets in the way—" He didn't finish. Didn't have to. Walsh was the one person Sarah had trusted. The one flag officer who'd been investigating Donovan. The one person who could make this evidence matter. And 2 Marines she'd humiliated on camera were being sent to kill her. "We need to call her," Hawk said. "Warn her." "With what phone?" Sarah gestured at the bodies. "Every call we make is monitored. Every move we make is tracked." "Then we go there, right now. We beat Marcus and Hicks to Walsh, and we get her somewhere safe. That's what Donovan wants. He's hurting us, forcing us to make predictable moves." Sarah stood. Her hands weren't shaking anymore. Her mind was clear. "We can't save Walsh by running to her. We save her by ending this. Right now. Tonight." "How?" Hawk demanded. Sarah picked up Tyler's phone, opened his group chat, started typing. "What are you doing?" Tyler asked. "Giving Donovan what he wants." Sarah's fingers flew. "I'm telling your friends exactly where I'll be, exactly when. And I'm making sure Donovan knows too." "That's suicide." "No." Sarah hit send. "That's checkmate." The message Sarah sent was simple. 3 words that would either save them or kill them. "Naval Base Coronado, midnight." Tyler stared at the phone. "You just told them where to find you. Donovan will send everyone." "That's the idea." Sarah handed the phone back. "Hawk, how long to upload those files?" "With decent internet, 20 minutes. Maybe 30 if the encryption's heavy." "We've got 7 hours." Sarah looked at the bodies on the floor, at the blood soaking into carpet that some innocent woman would have to clean. "Tyler, your friends. Marcus and Hicks. Are they like you? Would they listen to reason?" Tyler's laugh was bitter. "Marcus would shoot you on principle. He's a true believer. Thinks women dilute the corpse. Hicks, though—" He hesitated. "Hicks is scared. I could hear it when Donovan talked to us. He doesn't want to be here. He just doesn't know how to get out." "Then we give him an exit." Sarah started for the door. "Hawk, we need 3 things. A laptop with clean internet, a camera, and a witness Donovan can't kill." "You're thinking Admiral Walsh." "I'm thinking bigger." Sarah pulled Tyler to his feet. "We're going to do what Donovan can't spin. We're going live, national television, every news outlet simultaneously. We're going to tell the truth, and we're going to show the evidence, and we're going to do it where Donovan can't stop us without proving everything we say." "How?" Hawk grabbed the shoebox with the hard drive. "Every news station will need verification, background checks, legal approval before they'd air something like this. Unless it's breaking news, unless it's happening in real time, and they have no choice but to cover it." Sarah's mind was working 3 steps ahead now, the way it used to in mission planning. "Naval Base Coronado is hosting a ceremony tonight. Awards for distinguished service. Donovan's receiving one. There'll be press cameras, families, hundreds of witnesses." Tyler's eyes widened. "You're going to confront him at his own ceremony?" "I'm going to destroy him at his own ceremony." Sarah turned to Hawk. "Can you upload the files from a mobile hotspot, if I have to?" Then you'll do it from the ceremony, while I'm on stage with Donovan. Everything goes live at once. The evidence, the testimony, his face when he realizes it's over. Sarah pulled the gun from her waistband, checked it. By the time his contractors move, it'll be too late. The truth will be out. And if they kill you anyway, Hawk's voice was flat. If Donovan decides martyring you is worth it, then I die proving 4 good men didn't. Sarah met his eyes. I'm done hiding Hawk. I'm done letting him win. They left through the back, taking Tyler's car. Diana's house was already a crime scene. By morning, her life would be destroyed too. Another casualty of Donovan's war. Sarah added it to the list of things she'd never forgive herself for. They drove to a public library in Escondido. Quiet. Anonymous. Full of people who wouldn't look twice at 3 stressed individuals hunched over a computer. Hawk commandeered a terminal while Sarah and Tyler stood watch. Uploading now, Hawk muttered. But we've got a problem. The files are encrypted with military-grade security. To break it, I need access codes I don't have anymore. So break them. That's not how encryption works. Without the codes, this drive is just expensive garbage. Hawk's fingers hammered the keyboard. Unless what? Unless I use Donovan's own codes. Every file he encrypted, he did it through official channels, military servers, if I can access his command account. You're talking about hacking a colonel's military account from a public library computer. Tyler sounded like he might be sick. That's treason. That's like life in prison treason. We're already wanted for murder, Sarah said. Might as well add to the list. Hawk, can you do it? I know his password structure. Worked with him long enough to see patterns, but if I'm wrong, the system will lock down and alert every security protocol on the West Coast. Hawk looked at Sarah. 50-50 odds. I'll take those odds, Hawk typed. The screen filled with code. Sarah watched the door while Tyler watched the windows. Every person who walked past might be a contractor. Every car that slowed might be the end. The computer beeped. Hawk swore. What? Sarah moved to his shoulder. I'm in. But there's more here than just Syria. Hawk scrolled through files, his face going progressively paler. Jesus Christ. He's been running weapons for 15 years. Afghanistan, Iraq, Somalia, Yemen. Dozens of deals. Hundreds of millions of dollars. He stopped on one file. Opened it. This is a hit list. Names, dates, methods. Everyone who got too close. Sarah read over his shoulder. Recognized names. Lieutenant Kevin Marsh. Training accident. Captain Jennifer Torres. Heart attack. Commander Michael Chen. Suicide. All of them investigators. All of them dead. He killed Torres, Sarah whispered. Captain Torres. She called me this morning. Tried to get me to come in. That wasn't Torres. Hawk pointed at the screen. Torres died 3 weeks ago. Whoever called you was using her identity. Donovan probably has a dozen people impersonating dead officers, keeping their lines active, intercepting anyone who tries to report him. Sarah felt ice in her veins. How deep did this go? How many people had Donovan killed? How many systems had he corrupted? Download it all, she said. Everything. Every file. Every name. That'll take hours. Then we have hours. Sarah checked her watch. 5 p.m. 7 hours until midnight. Tyler, I need you to call Marcus and Hicks. Tell them you found us. Tell them we'll be at the ceremony. Make it convincing. Tyler picked up his phone with shaking hands. Dialed. Put it on speaker. Marcus answered on the second ring. Brooks, where the hell have you been? Donovan's been trying to reach you. I found them. Tyler's voice steadied. Good. He was learning. Mitchell and Rodriguez. They're planning to crash Donovan's ceremony tonight. They're going to try to expose him in front of everyone. Then we stop them before they get there. No. We let them come. We wait until they're on base, surrounded, no escape. Then we take them down. Tyler glanced at Sarah. Donovan wants this public right. Wants everyone to see the crazy SEAL get arrested. This is our chance. A pause. Then, Donovan said, terminate on sight. Donovan also said keep it quiet. Hard to keep it quiet if we shoot them in a parking lot, but if we wait until the ceremony, until there are cameras and witnesses, then it looks like justice. Like we caught the bad guys. Another pause. Longer. Sarah could hear Marcus breathing, thinking. Finally, Hicks, you copy all that. Yeah. Hicks's voice was quieter. Younger. Brooks is right. We should wait. Fine. But if they rabbit, we take them down hard. No more games. Marcus hung up. Tyler lowered the phone. His hand was shaking again. I just lied to my brothers. They trust me and I lied to them. You saved their lives, Sarah said. If they come at us in a parking lot, they die. If they wait until the ceremony, they get to see the truth. And if they don't care about the truth, if they're so far gone that even evidence doesn't matter, Sarah didn't have an answer for that. She'd seen true believers before, men who'd rather die than admit they were wrong. Marcus might be one of them. The downloads finished at 6. Hawk copied everything to 3 separate cloud servers, each with different security protocols. By 7, they'd created a dead man's switch. If anything happened to them, the files would automatically release to every major news outlet simultaneously. We're as ready as we're going to be, Hawk said. He looked exhausted. They all did. They ate in the car, gas station sandwiches that tasted like cardboard. None of them were hungry, but they ate anyway. Fuel. Nothing more. At 9 p.m., Sarah made a call from a burner phone Tyler had bought. Not to Walsh. Not to NCIS. To someone Donovan would never expect. Channel 7 News. This is Melissa. My name is Lieutenant Commander Sarah Mitchell. In 3 hours, I'm going to expose a conspiracy that goes to the heart of Naval Special Warfare Command. People are going to die. Probably including me. But if you want the story of the decade, if you want footage that will win you a Pulitzer, you'll have cameras at Naval Base Coronado by midnight. Is this some kind of prank? Google my name. Watch the video from this morning. Then decide if you think I'm joking. Sarah hung up. She made 6 more calls. Different stations. Same message. By the time she was done, half the news vans in San Diego would be racing toward Coronado. That's it then, Hawk said. No turning back. There was no turning back the moment we survived that warehouse. Sarah checked the gun one last time. Full magazine. 1 in the chamber. 15 rounds. Not enough if Donovan sent everyone. More than enough if she was smart. They drove toward Coronado in silence. The bridge lights reflected off black water. Beyond the base sprawled across the island. Sarah had trained there once. Lifetime ago. Different person. Tyler spoke suddenly. My mom always said the uniform was supposed to mean something. Honor. Courage. Commitment. She was so proud when I enlisted. His voice cracked. What do I tell her now, that I almost murdered a woman because my CO ordered it, that I killed a man in a stranger's living room? You tell her you made a mistake, Sarah said. And then you did the right thing. That's all any of us can do. Is it enough? I don't know, but it's all we've got. They parked a mile from the base, walked the rest. 3 figures in the dark, carrying weapons, and truth in equal measure. The ceremony was already underway. Sarah could hear the band playing, could see the lights. Security at the gate was tight. 2 MPs checking credentials barriers up vehicles being searched. Sarah led them around to a service entrance she remembered from her training days. The fence here was older, the cameras fewer. They went over quick and quiet. Inside the base, everything was focused on the main parade ground. Hundreds of people in dress uniforms, families in the stands, a stage with a podium and flags. On that stage stood Colonel Richard Donovan, chest full of medals he didn't deserve, smile for the cameras. Sarah felt something cold settle in her chest. Not fear, not rage, purpose. Hawk, get in position. Start uploading the moment I step on that stage. She turned to Tyler. Find your friends. Try one more time to reach them. If you can't... She left the rest unfinished. Ghost! Hawk grabbed her arm. Don't be a hero. You get up there, you say your piece, you get off. Don't give Donovan a chance to spin this into something worse. I won't. Promise me. Sarah looked at him. Her friend. Her brother in everything but blood. I promise I'll tell the truth. That's all I can promise. She left them in the shadows and walked toward the light. Every step was measured. Every breath controlled. People turned to look at her, this woman in civilian clothes moving through a sea of uniforms. Some recognized her from the video. Phones came out. Whispers started. The MPs at the stage perimeter moved to intercept. Sarah kept walking. Ma'am, this is a restricted area. You need to... She held up her military ID. The one she should have turned in 2 years ago. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Mitchell, Naval Special Warfare. The MP's eyes widened. He keyed his radio. We've got the seal. The one from the news. She's heading for the stage. More MPs converging. But slowly. Uncertain. Because she wasn't running. Wasn't fighting. Just walking. Like she had every right to be there. Donovan saw her. His speech stuttered. His smile froze. For just a second, just long enough for the cameras to catch it, Colonel Richard Donovan looked terrified. Then his face smoothed. Professional. Concerned. Commander Mitchell, what a surprise. I heard you were in town. Please come up. Let's talk. It was a good play. Acknowledge her publicly. Make it look friendly. Control the narrative before she could speak. Sarah climbed the stairs, stood beside him. Every camera in the venue swung toward them. Behind the cameras, Sarah spotted the news vans. 6 of them. Maybe more. All recording. Donovan's smile never wavered, but his voice dropped to a hiss. You've made a terrible mistake. Only one of us has, Sarah said. She turned to face the crowd. Hundreds of faces. Thousands watching via live stream. My name is Lieutenant Commander Sarah Mitchell. 2 years ago in Syria, I watched 4 Navy SEALs die. I was told it was bad luck. Bad timing. The fog of war. Donovan tried to cut her off. Commander, this isn't the time. It was murder. Sarah's voice cut across his. Clear. Strong. They died because Colonel Donovan abandoned them to cover up an illegal weapons deal. I survived. I tried to report it, and he tried to kill me too. The crowd erupted. Shouts, questions. The MPs didn't know whether to arrest her or protect her. Donovan's face went from shock to rage in seconds. That's a lie, he snarled. You're having a psychotic break. Someone restrain her before... The evidence is uploading right now. Sarah pointed at the cameras, at the crowd, at the world. Financial records, communications, testimony from 3 witnesses in federal protection, a hit list with 47 names, all of it going public. Right, now. Donovan lunged for her. Sarah was ready. She sidestepped, used his momentum against him, put him face down on the stage. The crowd gasped. Cameras flashed like lightning. You just assaulted a superior officer, Donovan spat. No, I just arrested a war criminal. Sarah pulled zip ties from her pocket, bound his wrists. Colonel Richard Donovan, you're under citizen's arrest for murder weapons trafficking and conspiracy. You have the right to remain silent. I suggest you use it. That's when the shooting started. The first shot came from the crowd. Not at Sarah. At the stage lights. Glass exploded overhead, raining down. The crowd screamed, surging toward exits. MPs drew weapons, but didn't know where to aim. Chaos. Exactly what Donovan's contractors wanted. Sarah threw herself over Donovan, using his body as a shield while scanning for the shooter. Training took over. Assess, identify, neutralize. There, roofline, 50 yards, man in tactical gear, already repositioning. "Hawk," Sarah shouted into the chaos. "Tell me you got it uploaded." Through her earpiece static, then Hawk's voice. 70%. Keep them distracted. Keep them distracted. Right. Sarah rolled off Donovan, sprinted toward the edge of the stage. Another shot. Missed her by inches, punched through the podium where she'd been standing. The crowd was trampling each other now, families diving under bleachers, officers shouting contradictory orders. She spotted Marcus pushing through the panic gun, drawn eyes locked on her. Not hesitating, not questioning, just executing orders. "Marcus, don't!" Tyler appeared from nowhere, stepping between them. "It's over, Donovan's lying. I saw the files. I saw everything. Move Brooks." Marcus's voice was dead. "That's an order." "I'm not moving. You want to shoot her? You shoot me first." For a heartbeat, Marcus wavered. Then his finger tightened on the trigger. Hicks tackled him from the side. Both Marines went down hard, guns skittering across concrete. "Tyler's right," Hicks was shouting. "I checked the news feeds. It's everywhere. The files, the evidence. Donovan's done." Marcus struggled beneath him. "Get off me. That's our commanding officer. Our commanding officer is a murderer." Hicks's voice broke. "I'm not dying for him. I'm not killing for him. Not anymore." Another shot. This one hit the stage where Donovan lay zip-tied. Contractors weren't trying to save him. They were trying to silence him. Dead colonels couldn't testify. Sarah grabbed Donovan by his collar, dragged him toward cover behind the podium. "Your own people are trying to kill you. How's that loyalty working out? They're following protocol. Eliminate compromised assets." Donovan's smile was razor thin. "You think this ends with me? I'm one branch on a very big tree, Commander. Cut me down and 2 more grow back." "Then I'll keep cutting." Sarah's radio crackled. Hawk again. 95%? Ghost, you need to get clear. The whole base is about to lock down." "Not without Donovan." "He's not worth your life. He's worth the truth." Sarah pulled Donovan to his feet. "Walk. Now." They moved through smoke and chaos toward the service entrance. MPs were establishing a perimeter, but focused outward, looking for active shooters. Nobody stopped the female SEAL dragging a zip-tied colonel. They looked official enough. Behind them, Marcus had broken free from Hicks. Tyler tried to grab him. Marcus spun, brought his elbow into Tyler's jaw. Tyler went down. Marcus raised his gun. "Stand down, Marine." The voice was thunder. Command. Absolute authority. Admiral Patricia Walsh stepped into the light, flanked by 4 NCIS agents in tactical gear. She was smaller than Sarah remembered, gray-haired and grandmother sweet, but her voice could stop artillery. Marcus froze. "Lower your weapon. That's a direct order from a flag officer." Walsh walked toward him slowly. "Son, I know what you've been told. I know what you think you're doing. But Colonel Donovan is under investigation. Has been for 6 months. If you fire that weapon, you're not protecting anyone. You're committing murder on national television." Marcus looked at the cameras still recording, at the news crews behind barricades, at the phones capturing everything. His gun lowered. "Smart choice." Walsh gestured to her agents. "Secure the Marine, get a medic for Brooks, and somebody find me Lieutenant Commander Mitchell before she gets herself killed." Too late for that. Sarah had already dragged Donovan past the perimeter, heading for the waterfront, where Hawk was waiting with a stolen boat. Not stolen. Borrowed. Sarah was tired of stealing. "This is kidnapping," Donovan said. "Federal crime. You're adding years to your sentence." "I'm adding you to mine. Fair trade." Sarah shoved him toward the dock. Hawk was there, laptop still open, uploading bar at 99%. "Almost there," Hawk breathed. "Almost, yes, it's live. Every file, every document. It's out there." Sarah let out a breath she'd been holding for 2 years. "Then we're done." "Not quite." Donovan's voice was soft, dangerous. "You've destroyed my career, my life. But you haven't destroyed the network, the people I work with. They're still out there. And now you've put targets on all your backs. Let them come." Sarah met his eyes. "I spent 2 years hiding. I'm done hiding." Sirens wailed in the distance, multiple vehicles converging. Sarah pulled out her phone, dialed 911. "This is Lieutenant Commander Sarah Mitchell. I'm at Naval Base Coronado, South Dock. I have Colonel Richard Donovan in custody. Send every unit you have and bring cameras. The world needs to see this." She hung up, looked at Hawk. "You should go. Disappear. They'll come after anyone connected to this. After everything we've been through, you think I'm leaving now?" Hawk laughed. It sounded almost genuine. "Ghost, I've been running for 2 years. I'm tired of running. Whatever happens next, we face it together." The first police car arrived. Then another. Then news vans, NCIS vehicles, MPs, federal agents. Within minutes, the dock was flooded with lights and uniforms and cameras. Sarah stood in the center of it all, hands raised, Donovan at her feet, Hawk beside her. Admiral Walsh pushed through the crowd. "Commander Mitchell, Master Chief Rodriguez, secure your weapons and come with me." "Are we under arrest?" Sarah asked. "That depends." Walsh looked at Donovan, disgust flickering across her professional mask. "Did you upload the files?" "Every single one." "Then no. You're not under arrest. You're witnesses, and I'm going to need you to tell me everything." Walsh gestured to her agents. "Take Colonel Donovan into custody. Full protective detail. If anything happens to him before he testifies, I will personally destroy whoever's responsible." The agents moved in. Donovan didn't resist, but he looked at Sarah one last time. "This isn't over." "Yes," Sarah said quietly. "It is." They took statements until sunrise. Sarah told them everything. Syria, the ambush, the 4 men who died, the 2 years of hiding, the warehouse fight, Diana's house. Every detail. Every death. Hawk corroborated, filling in pieces she'd missed. By noon, the story was everywhere. Every news outlet. Every social media platform. Navy SEAL exposes massive corruption. Colonel arrested after whistleblower reveals weapons trafficking. The woman they couldn't silence. Tyler Brooks gave an interview. Crying. Honest. "I believed I was doing the right thing. I believed I was protecting people, but I was lied to, manipulated, used, and I almost killed an innocent woman because of it." He looked into the camera. If you're in the military, if someone orders you to do something that feels wrong, trust that feeling. Question it, because I didn't, and I'll carry that forever. Marcus refused all interviews, faced court-martial for assault and attempted murder. But Hicks testified on his behalf, explaining the pressure, the manipulation, the systematic way Donovan had weaponized good men. The court showed mercy. Dishonorable discharge. No prison time. Donovan's trial took 8 months. The evidence was overwhelming. The testimonies devastating. 3 weapons dealers. 16 military personnel he'd compromised. Financial records showing $40 million in illegal sales. And Sarah on the stand for 3 days straight, describing Syria in detail that made grown men weep. The jury deliberated for 40 minutes. Guilty on all counts. Life in military prison, no possibility of parole. When the verdict came down, Sarah felt nothing. No triumph. No relief. Just exhaustion. She walked out of the courtroom into a wall of cameras. "Commander Mitchell, how do you feel?" "Commander, will you return to active duty?" "Commander, you're a hero. What's next for you?" She stopped, looked at them. All these people wanting her story, her pain, her trauma packaged into sound bites. "I'm not a hero," she said. "Heroes don't spend 2 years hiding while good people die. I'm just someone who finally found the courage to tell the truth. And if you take anything from this, the system only works when people inside it refuse to let corruption win. Question orders. Protect whistleblowers. Demand accountability. Because the moment we stop doing that, the moment we decide loyalty to people matters more than loyalty to principles we've already lost." She walked away. Didn't look back. 6 months later, Sarah stood in front of a different building. Not a courtroom. Not a military base. A converted warehouse in San Diego's East Village with a sign that read, Mitchell Defense Academy. Inside, 20 women in workout gear were learning defensive techniques, not military tactics, self-defense, practical skills, how to recognize danger, how to protect yourself, how to fight back when fighting back was the only option. Tyler Brooks was there too, teaching alongside her. He'd left the Marines enrolled in college but volunteered 3 days a week. Penance, maybe. Or maybe just trying to become someone better than the man he'd almost been. "Okay, break time." Sarah called the class to attention. The women gathered, ranging from college students to retirees. "Remember what we talked about. Strength without control is just violence. Control without confidence is hesitation. You need both. Every time." A young woman raised her hand. "Commander, what if we freeze? What if we're too scared to fight back?" Sarah thought about the pier, about the warehouse, about standing on that stage with Donovan while the world watched, about every moment fear had tried to paralyze her. "Fear's not the enemy," she said. "Fear is information. It tells you something's wrong. Something's dangerous. The trick is not letting that information shut you down. You feel the fear. You acknowledge it, and then you act anyway. That's not bravery. That's just being human." After class, Hawk showed up. He'd opened his own security consulting firm helping companies identify corruption in their ranks. Business was good. Turned out a lot of people wanted someone who'd actually exposed a conspiracy on their team. "Got something for you." He handed Sarah an envelope. Came certified mail, official looking. Sarah opened it. Read. Her breath caught. "What?" Hawk asked. "The Navy, they're reinstating me. Full rank, full honors, apologizing for the medical leave, the psych evaluations, all of it." She looked up. "They want me to come back." "Are you going to—" Sarah looked around her gym, at the women learning to protect themselves, at Tyler working with a teenager on proper stance, at the life she'd built from the wreckage. "No," she said. "I already have a mission." That evening, Sarah visited Arlington National Cemetery. She'd avoided it for 2 years. Couldn't face the stones. Couldn't face what they represented. But now she walked between white markers until she found them. Jennings, Marcus, Rodriguez, Kim. 4 men who'd trusted their country and died for someone else's greed. Sarah knelt, touched the cold marble. "I'm sorry I took so long. I'm sorry I ran. I'm sorry I let fear win for 2 years." Her voice broke. "But it's done now. Donovan's in prison. The network's dismantled. Your families know the truth. You died heroes, not casualties, not mistakes. Heroes." The wind picked up, rustling through trees. Sarah stood, saluted, held it for a long moment. Rest easy, brothers. Your watch is over. Mine's just beginning. She walked away from Arlington with her head high. The woman they'd mocked on a pier. The woman they'd tried to silence. The woman who'd survived Syria and corruption and 2 years of her own fear. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Mitchell. SEAL. Survivor. Teacher. Proof that the most dangerous person in any room isn't always the loudest or the strongest or the one with the most power. Sometimes it's the one underestimates. The one who refuses to stay silent. The one who understands that real courage isn't the absence of fear. It's looking at everything you could lose and deciding the truth matters more. They'd tried to break her. They'd failed. And now she was teaching a new generation that strength isn't about domination. It's about protection. About standing up when standing up costs everything. About being the person who says no when everyone else is saying yes. The woman from the pier who'd dropped 2 Marines in 4 seconds. The SEAL who'd exposed a conspiracy that reached the highest levels of command. The teacher who now helped others find their own strength. She was all of these things. And she was done apologizing for any of them.